Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Tuesday meeting of the BOCC. I don't see a pastor with us today, so if you're capable, you want to rise and we'll do the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, a couple things going on today that just make you aware of. We have a workshop at 10 a.m. We've been, I think, in the past year where we've been working on a dangerous dog ordinance or updating our dangerous dog ordinance. It's finally gotten to the public hearing stage. We've gotten through all the hoops, so that'll be at 10. Obviously, I have a commissioner with some pain issues, and he's waiting for a call from a doctor. If we get that, I will take a short recess and let him deal with that. So just be aware of that. Okay. Okay, with that said, I'll entertain a motion for the minutes.
Mr. Chair, move to approve the minutes of June 30th through July 2nd.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the minutes. Any questions, comments on them that I see? Okay, seeing none, call for a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. I'll run down consent agenda, call for hearings. We have a call for hearing for quarter three. Every quarter we do a budget amendment and look that over, and we have a call for hearing for that. Quarter three, August 12th, 2025 at 9:30. Awards, contracts, agreements, contracts, bid awards. The first two, items 2 and 3, are on the South Cloverdale Road improvement project. What this is no additional money. WashDOT changed some of the rules on where money can be spent, so we had to adjust some in the budget as to where it was coming out of. So this isn't a change for different money or more money or anything like that. It's just complying with a change that WashDOT made to us. 4, we have a agreement with the Fine Design Group to provide tourism market analysis services. We get a lodging tax fund that goes to tourism in the county. Some of it goes to the cities, some of it goes to the county. And Kim kind of runs that for us. And she brought together the cities and the county because we all kind of do things in a silo, and we have funds in it, and we were trying to figure out a better way to do this. For example, here's a real easy one. It used to be you stop in a visitor center, you grab all kinds of brochures and head out. Well, they don't do that stuff anymore. It's a lot more electronic, and it's a lot different approach. So we're trying to coordinate better with the cities. Each city has their own things, and how do we put that into a countywide and make it more attractive to people traveling through us. So this group was together at cities, the ports. They said we should work with a group or put out an RFP for a group, and that's what they did. There was 12 different groups that provided a proposal. Fine Design Group is out of Portland. They currently work with Port of Kalama and do a pretty good job for them. So the tourism group wanted to use them. Why you're seeing it in the commissioner's realm is because we're set up in this county where the county is kind of takes lead on this. So we're the ones that have to sign the contract. It's not a new expenditure of funds. It's funds that's been collected. It's sitting there. The tourism group has said, we want to do this and we'll move forward with it. So that's what that is. Kind of a long-winded explanation, but that's what that is. Number 5 is an agreement with ALS Environmental for environmental testing at the landfill and water sewer plants. This is our second extension of that contract. It's the same pricing as the initial. We expect, I talked to Sean yesterday, we'll probably see a third extension, and then it would go out for a new proposal. And that seems to be typical with our contracts. We'll run them for 3 to 5 years and then a new proposal. So this is the second extension, same pricing as we've had in the past. Board correspondence, affidavit of posting resume for the month of May 2025. And we had a pre-approval travel form, Commissioner Rader. He's represented us as the Washington County's risk pool. Then vouchers in the amount of $1,329,457.25. And that is consent agenda. If anybody has any questions on it. Okay. Not, I'd entertain a motion.
I move approval of the consent agenda.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Let's look for any hands. I don't see any. Okay, we'll call for a vote. Those in favor? Aye. Thank you. One motion item.
Good morning, Susan Eugenius, County Engineer. We have one motion item ahead in front of you guys today. It is change order number 1 for the countywide pavement overlay project. Our bids came in really good this year. So we had more money budgeted than what the low bid was. So we requested that they add some additional roads. Lakeside agreed to add them at the unit prices that were bid. So we're adding 2,322 additional tons of HMA, about 2,900 square yards of grinding. This is equivalent to approximately 3.32 lane miles. To highlight some of the roads that we've added onto is Coal Creek Road, Old Highway 99 South, Woodside, to get some nice overlay done in those areas. So we're requesting that the board approves an additional $315,227 onto our overlay contract.
Any questions on it? It's a nice problem to have. The bids come in less and we're able to do more roads with money we already had designated to spend, so.
Yes, it is a nice thing for us. It's unusual.
And thank you for bringing up that it was 3.2 miles that we were going to be adding. Yeah.
You're welcome. I know I would throw out tons and that doesn't mean anything to most people.
Any questions, other questions, comments on that? Okay, I'd entertain a motion.
I move approval of the change order number 1 to the contract with Lakeside Industries.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the change order with Lakeside. Last chance. Okay, see now, call for a vote. Those in favor? Aye. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
We have coming up tomorrow at 2:30 for a Wednesday meeting. We have Rotary from Woodland coming in, talked about the Scott Hill Park Sports Complex. We've helped Woodland with some money on that park. So I think they're coming in to tell us about it. On Tuesday, you remember I told you we had the Forest Service in on a Tuesday and that went pretty well. So we're trying to move some of those larger ones to Tuesday. Tuesday, July 22nd at 10 a.m. we have Department of Ecology coming in and they're here to, they gave us an agenda. They'll have a question and answer period where you're open to answer some questions. They're going to provide us some detail on the Spirit Lake, that whole cooperative thing and some of the things they're doing up in there. So they'll be here Tuesday the 22nd. And then of course, Board of Health is the last Tuesday, the 29th. Other than that, it's open to you if you have any comments, concerns, or anything.
I just want to thank the commissioners for the lovely cushions on the benches. I've really enjoyed those, and the other ladies that usually come do too. So I want to thank them for that. And I also want to just continue to commit to wanting to see a mental health facility in our county. Thank you.
Yeah, and we will do a workshop on that. I have, and the question is whether we want to do it through BOCC or part of Board of Health. And I think Kelly's coming in and I'll chat with him a little bit on that tomorrow, but we will do that. It's a, you know, it's an interesting, I'm not saying it's not needed, but it's an interesting thing because when, well, we can save it for the workshop. I can give you my 2 cents now, or we can wait. Go ahead, Ron.
Well, kind of on that same vein, I see in our Longview Daily News, the comments, Longview City Council talking about 122 service agencies in our county and talking about overlap and looking at that. I think we would tune right in with that and wanting to understand that same vein of discussion, not only for the city of Longview, but for the entire county and the use of our funds and what these agencies are doing. I mean, if you're in private enterprise, you assume that if you're not adding some new ones periodically and getting rid of some old ones periodically, you pretty soon become dead. So
Yeah.
we need to have an understanding of that. And there, as you well know, the county cities are going to be coming for funds along the way. And so we look at supporting you and having a clear understanding of the best benefit for our investments.
Yeah. I agree with you, Ron. And these are things we can touch on in a workshop, but I think that's one of the big things. There's so many agencies that overlap in services as to how do you coordinate that, or how do you, I almost hate to say this because we always get people figuring out, well, how do you maybe redirect funds to things that aren't working anymore?
Right. And if there isn't the appropriate oversight and questioning, I mean, we all know we get comfortable in whatever spot we're in. And when you have 122 agencies, they don't get funds for asking questions. They get funds for kind of staying in the same little slot forever and forever and mushrooms in the dark.
Yeah, to me, it's kind of a complex thing. I don't think anybody disagrees that you'd like to have a facility and that you should try and help these people that need to get some help. The issue I always have is, if you're coming to us to do it, then that means private sector sees no profit or no benefit in it. Otherwise, they would step in and do it, right? I mean, if they see they can make money, they're going to step in and take care of this problem. And that's the best way to take care of problems, is private entity. If it comes to us, and that means that nobody out there is willing to do it, and they're looking for us to try and fix that. So I called a friend I went to high school with that's been in this field her whole life, and just say, why is that? Why does private enterprise not want to step into this? And it basically, in her view, where it comes down to is they can't make money. The states and stuff want to work with people that are already connected with the state. It's very hard for private enterprise, for Dahl Mental Health Facility to get hooked up with the state and get reimbursed and do all that stuff. But it's much easier if you're a entity already hooked with the state to do it. And she says, so it's really hard for a private individual to get in there, and then the reimbursement rates don't cover a lot of that. So it's a complex thing. Where do we, her suggestion to me is you find somebody that already has beds and maybe help them expand the beds, those type of things. So I think these are all good discussions to have in a workshop. I just, I got curious and I just called her and said, why doesn't private enterprise do this? Why do, if they're coming to me, then there's a reason for that.
Right. So you made a very key point, a workshop. So
Yeah.
when you Board of Commissioners look out ahead now on the mental health and these other things and say, we're gonna have a workshop, then that lines people up for having to ask questions, get answers, and be ready for a workshop.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I would also just say, Ron, to Commissioner Dahl's point about the funding, it's even, or the services, the crossover that we have in services, it's even worse than that. We have service providers that are getting funding from us as a county. Those same service providers are getting funding from institutions that the county owns separately from the county and the state, and they're getting funding from institutions that that institution owns. So it's an onion that has to be it has to be peeled back one layer at a time, because it's a juggernaut. I mean, it really is, to the chairman's point, it is difficult to get into that industry because of the way that it is set up. And so in order to get to the point to where we can even have a conversation about having a rehab facility, we have to deal with all the things leading up to how we distribute money, who gets it, where does it go? I mean, that conversation needs to be had first, because we will find that there is a heck of a lot of money that is just being funneled to a lot of these institutions.
Yeah.
From multiple institutions that are all coming from the state and the county, if that makes sense.
In competition with each other.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right, right. Well, and we get a flavor of this, at least sort of a flavor in the discussion at the Big Beautiful Bill at a national level, when they're talking about do some Doge, I'll use the general term Doge on Medicaid. And the words go out, well, you're taking Medicaid away from a whole lot of people. And on the other end, it's saying, no, we've got people that are double dipping and a whole lot of other things that we want to go after, but it all gets disguised or I'll just say misquoted in what the objective is.
Yeah.
And we never quite really get to the real root of what the action really ended up
Yeah.
and was.
Yeah. Unfortunately, facts and political jargon get mixed too heavily in this arena.
Correct. And we don't have enough people. Well, we all are challenged to try to find the truth.
Yeah.
And that's a challenge, right? Thank you.
Anything else you want to talk about? Free forum. We're pretty open about discussing anything. Okay. I won't adjourn, but we can recess till 10 when the public hearing comes on. So we'll just recess till 10 when public hearing is there. Recess and head into our 10 o'clock public hearing. Oh, it's just a workshop. Okay, sorry. Okay. I don't get to bang anything?
We're on. Yeah. Good morning. I'm Jason Loreen with the Cowlitz County Prosecutors, seated next to Sheriff Thurman. I've provided you gentlemen on the 2nd of July a copy of the proposed language changes for Cowlitz County Code 612-190. Have you had an opportunity to review? All right.
I have, yeah.
Okay. And with the sheriff here, it shows that it's a sponsorship by the sheriff. I was asked by Chief Jordan Spencer to assist with an appeal of a nuisance animal out of district court. And during that, we noticed that there was some clunky language that was in the current version of 612-190, and we thought that it might be necessary to sharpen it, make it a little more accessible for all parties, and so really with the intention to prevent further litigation going down. And as you become aware, every time that I'm in front of you, it's to prevent litigation involving someone from Seattle coming down here and telling us that we need to pay them a lot of money. So what we've done is to keep consistent with other changes that we've made in Cowles County Code 612, as well as with the new edition of 613, is not just include language that the owner of the animal, but it's anyone in control of the animal, because sometimes that may be the case and the animal may be a nuisance. What it also does is shows how service may be properly given. And furthermore, in section E, it really lays out with clarity the process of appealing any of these notices of abatement that are associated with nuisance animals, including the 15 days, as well as what happens if or when there is a failure to appear at your requested hearing. Providing finality as well as notice to any individual who chooses to appeal this designation. So hopefully that clarifies everything. If there are any questions, the sheriff and I are here to assist.
I did have one question, Jason, maybe you can clarify this for me, and I don't know if it's me not understanding it correctly, but on item C,
Mhm.
where it's talking about the owner shall comply with the abatement notice by permanently removing the animal from Cowlitz County. And then it says permanently transferring ownership, custody, and control of the animal to another person not related to or residing with the owner. Are we not just transferring a troubled pet from one owner to another, but the problem still exists? I mean, as a dog owner, if my dog bites somebody, regardless of the circumstances, unfortunately, I'm gonna put it down because there's already something on record saying my dog bit somebody. In this situation, are we not opening ourselves up to liability by just transferring ownership of the problem animal?
Well, that's a good question. So if we have an animal that bites someone, we're in a different chapter. This is about a nuisance animal, a dog at large, someone that's going onto property that it shouldn't be on, terrorizing neighborhoods. It's
Okay.
basically a bad owner not dealing with the animal, not
What's the
controlling the
nuisance
animal.
part of it?
The nuisance part of
Okay.
it.
Got it.
And so in this instance, we're not looking to eradicate the animal. We're looking to eradicate the problem. And sometimes the problem is the owner. And so if the owner still loves a dog, sees the value in the animal, but has been told you don't get to own this animal any longer, they can transfer it to someone else who is not residing with the owner, meaning we're not going to keep the problem where it is. It's going to go it may be going somewhere else, but maybe that person that they provided to is better equipped, better able, or more willing to control the situation, to control the animal. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Other than that, I didn't have any questions. I think it makes sense what you want to do, just cleaning it up.
Okay. Well, with that, then we'll probably move forward to having formal hearing on the
Yeah.
issue.
Okay.
And I'll provide that paperwork to the clerk, and we'll get going.
Have we had to do any actions on the other yet so far?
Well,
Just out of curiosity.
on the other end,
Yeah, where we changed where the animal was a danger.
under code 613.
Yeah.
That's a question better presented to the sheriff.
I'm
Yeah,
just curious.
Yeah, we have a current case going.
Do ya?
A person down in the Clam area, his dog's attacked two separate people. And he's served with the proper paperwork and at one point told us he was going to euthanize the dog. He changed his mind and he's complied with the dangerous dog
Oh,
ordinance. So he's
okay.
come in, he's gotten actually has two dogs, he's gotten collars and paid his annual fee to do that. So that's the only case so far, but that seems to be working in
Okay.
that case.
Good. Good.
Well,
Okay.
thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
You guys.
Sheriff? Anything else, gentlemen? Did you get a call, Steve? No. You want us to call him for you? We're getting a hangry commissioner here. Okay. See nothing else, we'll adjourn. Thank you.